What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 in the Let's Develop series. And in this episode, we're going to start getting into the meat of things here. So, to begin with, what I plan on doing is I have a Visual Studio Code opened up right now. What we're going to do is we're going to make a project folder. We're going to go ahead and just store it on the desktop. And then we're going to go ahead and create our Python virtual environment. Once that is created, then we're going to go ahead and install the APIs that we're going to use in this project. And after that, we just have one more application install, and that is ImageMagick. So let's go ahead and get started here. We'll open up a folder, and we'll go to desktop. And then from here, we'll create a folder. And the temporary name that I'm giving this project is AI Stockbot. So we'll go ahead and create that and select it. So from here, we hit Control-Shift-P. Control-Shift-P to bring up our command window. And we see right here in Python, create new virtual environment. So let's go ahead and click on that. Okay. And what it's doing right here is it's creating a requirements.txt file. And in the requirement.txt file are all of the required libraries. And since there's nothing in there, we're just getting an error. That's no big deal. Now, one thing I do want to go ahead and go over is if you're developing a new, if you're developing from scratch, you will see this error here, which is the activate.ps1 cannot be loaded because running scripts is disabled on this system. So what that means is if we go here to the Microsoft website and we can look at the execution policies. Now, let's, if we copy the get execution policy list, and then in here, we just paste that, we can see that our execution policies are all undefined, which means nothing's going to run. So we need to actually change that. So if we go back and we go all the way down here. Well, let's actually first, let's talk about these execution policies. So we have a few different types here. The first type is all signed. That basically means that every script has to be classified as trusted in order for them to run, and they have to be signed. That's not really applicable for us. This would be more for like a corporate environment. Then we have bypass, and yeah, that's not really what we want here. We have default, and that's restricted for clients. That's not what we want either. Remote signed, that's not applicable. Restricted, we don't want that. Undefined, that's what it's set at now. Unrestricted. So unrestricted is that unsigned scripts can run, but there is a risk of running malicious scripts. Now, it will warn the user before running scripts and config files that are not from the local intranet zone. What does that mean? Is basically if something tries to run a script and the script is from outside your network, then it'll pop up with a warning. So this is what we want. What I can say is that unless you know exactly what you're doing with websites and computer security, is I would go ahead and make a new user account as a developer account, and then only run that account when you're actually developing. So, but in my case, I'm just going to put it on my user account because, I am very security minded. So, execution policy. So we'll just copy this because it has the current user. We'll go back here and we'll paste it. And then, which one was it? It was the unrestricted. Okay, so now if we do the execution policy list, we'll see that the current user is unrestricted. And the current user is obviously my account. So we can Alright, so if we just click the up arrow key a couple times, we'll have the activate.ps1, and that successfully ran. So you can see here that we have our .venv and Python version. We're running version 3.8.8. Perfect. Alright, so from here, this is our requirements.txt file. These will be all of the packages or APIs, libraries that we need to install. And if you remember back in series, or what was it, episode 2, that I went through Trello, and we have all of our APIs here, which that's great because what we can do is we can do this. So APIs. Alright, so we have Mongo. Okay, and if we go ahead and save that, and then at this point, what we're going to do is pip install /u/r requirements.txt. Gotta yeah, I see what it is. There's an underscore in the requirements. So, alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and let this run through. It may take a few minutes, and we'll be right back. I'm going to drink some coffee. Alright, perfect. So we've successfully installed everything. Now if we go to believe it's pip. Yeah, it's just a pip list. So alright, so we can see here that we've got everything installed, all of the package dependencies. So it looks like everything is good here. Alright, next up from the APIs is going to be our environment variables. So let me go ahead and get that set up and I will be right back. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. So I went ahead and got some learning done, got my coffee I drank my coffee. I'm drunk on coffee. It's whatever. Alright, so now previously mentioned that we wanted to do like environment variables for our various like API keys, logins, things like that. So while that could be done if we were going to host the application on our local host, because I'm going to be basically developing this and then on the local host and then putting it into a Docker container with at some point being able to upload it into the cloud, that won't work because the environment variables are stored under the operating system. So first thing that we need to do is we need to create a .getignore file, and in this file we need to basically we're going to create our own environment variable file. So we'll just do config.py and we'll go ahead and save that. And let's create a new file. We'll do config.py. So this is where we're going to be putting all of our environment variables. So let's go through one by one here. Actually, I do have a text list that has everything, so I will be right back, and we'll get this finished up. First, let me actually go ahead and show you what this is. So test1 equals 1, 2, 3. We'll save it, and then we'll create a new file, and we'll just do this as like test.py. Import config. What was that? Test one. User equals config.test1 print user. Alright, so if we look here in the terminal, we have just a basic test here. So in the config file, you can see that we put a variable as test1 equals 1, 2, 3, and then we called that in our sample we have user equals config, which is the config.py equals the variable, and then we printed. So now we can see what we've got, 1, 2, 3. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna pause the video and start working on my environment variables. Alrighty, so I went ahead and finished up with getting my config.py file and the quote-unquote environment variables finished. So what I want to do here is I do have a sample Python file set up here. And just to let you know that it works, I do have one thing, a part of the Reddit information that you have to put in is, well, I'll go ahead and actually show that in the terminal once we finish up here. So we'll import our config as CFG. And okay, looking here, you can actually see all of the environment variables that I have. So for like WB, that is WeBull. Alright, so we went in and we've initialized all of the variables and API keys. So from here, we'll go ahead and print just something to test it out with to make sure it works. And that will be something that I can display publicly. So that will be the r underscore URI. Save, and let's run. Alright, so we do see here that it is pulling all of the information from our config variables, and we can see that the URI for Reddit is localhost 8080. So that works, and that's pretty much it for the API and environment variables. So one last thing here that we need to do and that is going to be to download and install a couple of other applications. The first up is ImageMagick, and ImageMagick is the reason why I'm doing this now is because it does require an environment variable that we'll have to set up on the local system. So we'll go ahead and download that. And then while that's downloading, one thing that I should have downloaded before, but we'll go ahead and download that now, is the MongoDB community server. So we'll go ahead and start that download. So ImageMagick is downloaded. We'll accept before you start. That's fine. Yeah, we don't need all that, so just ImageMagick. Okay. Alright, and that was a simple install. That's basically just a encoder for the TikTok videos. This one might be a little bit more difficult. It's the MongoDB. We'll just do it as complete. Install MongoDB as a service. That will be yes. Service name, that's fine. The data directory, that's fine. No, let's actually change that up. So in our stockbot folder, I'm just going to go ahead and do a new folder here called MongoDB. Okay, and I'll go ahead and speed up the video from here to allow this to install. Hopefully it won't take but a quick second. Okay, so it looks like MongoDB has finished installing. So close that. And MongoDB Compass looks like it's just a GUI for the database. We'll check that out once we actually get that filled. Alrighty, so once we get started with MongoDB, we'll go ahead and come back to that. So I'm going to go ahead and just end everything here. I think this has gone on long enough. Looks like it's about a roughly 20-minute video. So we'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll stop. Next session, we'll go ahead and actually start programming. So I'll see you then.